guys, welcome to Thompson Essentials. We are Scot and Amy Thompson, and we just want to come on today and just talk to you a little bit about curcumin, or better known as turmeric. Many of y'all have heard about turmeric, but maybe you don't understand what turmeric is. I'm going to let Dr. Scott touch that today with his information.
Yeah, it's one of the, probably underutilized nutrients that we could across the board that you'll find. And curcumin is the actual active compound in turmeric, and pretty much it's a root that you'd find in the ginger family. But our particular Thompson Essentials brand has something called BioPerine. BioPerine is a highly bioavailable curcumin formulation, and the reason it makes it so special is that it enhances the absorption, right? So getting nutrients in is one thing, but being able to actually utilize it so it doesn't just pass right through you and doesn't give you any benefit, that's a whole nother story. So because of that BioPerine in our particular formulation, it helps the curcuminoids of the actual turmeric and curcumin. It helps that become the active compound which is in the turmeric. And that also is that curcumin is what gives you that actual kind of coloration. And if you've ever had, Asian dishes that may have that kind of bright, that bright color, that is actually the curcumin that you're noticing in there. And cooking with it and putting it in smoothies and various things like that, the actual formulation, that's good for you as well. But the supplementation that we're discussing today that has that BioPerine in it, that's in Thompson Essentials brand, is very, very critical in the absorption uptake. Right, so first and foremost, I want to tell you guys that. Now, above and beyond that, it has a lot of benefits that I didn't even realize.
Really?
Right? So yes, you may, and we'll come back to this, but kind of getting out of my range of order in my mind. Digestion, most folks have related that, and it does help that. And also, it's got inflammation properties too. It's good for that. So a lot of folks that may have arthritic conditions may have been told or heard of or read and studied themselves about its benefits. And by all that is true, it does have strong links there and benefits. But moreover than that, try to keep myself a little bit on an organized fashion, in which, number one, I'd say it decreases inflammation, like we said, and that could help different issues digestive-wise. There are studies out there available that imply that with some medication and also taking, upwards to 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams daily, it helps conditions such as ulcerative colitis, which I don't typically like to name XYZ condition. However, in this particular study, it was shown that now if you're in a full-blown flare-up of ulcerative colitis, not so much then, but in this particular study, it helps because it's got that inflammation that it's helping. It helps decrease the occurrence of flare-ups, right? And that particular study is coupled with medication as well. However, they noticed people who did and did not take the curcumin and that with the medication, it also helped decrease the level of occurrence when it was coupled with that, right? So
what you're saying, Dr. Scott, is you're saying that anti-inflammatory properties that are in this amazing turmeric curcumin,
yes,
that is what is given that properties to work against any chronic inflammatory diseases.
Right. So as that study showed, folks that just took their medication versus people who took their medication and took curcumin, they had a lot better decrease in occurrence of their flare-ups, right? So, and that's because of curcumin's anti-inflammatory properties that it has. It also, I did not know this until recently, to be honest, is that it really helps brain fog type symptoms and it helps memory. And there's ongoing studies. I wouldn't say that, check the box, if I've got this, I should take that. But there are studies out there that are leaning towards that it can actually help brain activity so much so that it decreases dementia and Alzheimer's type symptoms.
Right. Well, just getting down inflammation. I don't care what the chronic condition is. Anti-inflammatory property foods and turmeric and all these great sources of, food products, they support getting inflammation down. So inflamed in whatever area, you can just name it XYZ condition, it's going to be improving if you're doing these foods. It's super powerful doing the curcumin. That is a key supplement. There is so many great recipes out there that you can do in your home to, we like curry a lot. Curry, if you add your curcumin or your turmeric powder, like your seasonings, that is excellent. It's just really hard to get the amount of potency that's in a supplement in our foods. We would have to eat it every day.
But back to the memory part, the reason that they are leaning towards that type of thing in the study that I was researching is they believe that it reduces inflammation in the brain, which lessens the decline of neurocognition. So there's some cutting edge stuff going on there. Obviously, you can't equivocally say this directly, cures or treat this. We're not implying that.
They support.
But there's a lot of properties to curcumin that more and more things are coming out every day, right? So by and large, it's a good supplement to put into your daily routine. Another thing, third thing I'd like to say, which kind of goes back to inflammation, but free radicals in your body, right? They cause a lot of issues. We'll do a whole nother episode on free radicals. You could do a deep chemistry dive into that. And I'm not a chemist by no means, but I do have really smart friends that I lean on towards. Matter of fact, I was just messaging one earlier today. It's like, congratulations, you have turned me into a little bit of a researcher. And I think that's one of this particular friend's goals. But back to free radicals. Curcumin is very good because of its antioxidant properties. Curcumin is full of those, and that decreases overall oxidative stress, which one hand washes the other with that regard. When you're decreasing inflammation, you're decreasing free radicals. By way of antioxidants, you're helping your entire body, every system, all kind of functions. And again, we'll have an episode coming up later in regards to free radicals, because that is a lengthy subject all on its own.
Yeah, for sure.
Another thing we'd like to say that, and this is, I've known of this, but know of it more readily now, is that heart disease risk can be related to curcumin intake as well.
Getting down that inflammation.
Yes, because again, reverting back very well, Miss Amy, when you're decreasing oxidative stress, you're going to help also heart function, cardiovascular issues. And there's also studies that are pointing towards that it may help regulate cholesterol. So that also is a very, very good thing. The more you can keep your cholesterol, which we're going to do a whole another episode on cholesterol itself, but yeah, that's for a later date. But when you can help regulate cholesterol by more natural means rather than otherwise conventional, you're doing yourself a huge, huge service in that regard. And this is also a new one to me, mental aspect and depression. There's a lot of things that are related to curcumin in that regard. And what we mean by that is it's going to increase serotonin and increase dopamine. And that is a mood regulator in the first place.
So when you take me out to eat Thai food and I'm like in a good mood afterwards, there you go.
Exactly.
So take me out for Thai food more.
Might be a placebo effect because
Yeah.
Miss Amy loves any kind of Asian, and Thai food is arguably her favorite. But it also could be hormonal in her brain, serotonin and dopamine. When you increase those, it changes your mood in a good positive light, right?
Well, let's try it again because that was some good Thai food yesterday.
Very much so, right? So another thing I'd like to add to you guys is that be careful how I word this, but cell growth in our body, we'll just say cell growth in our body, specific cells that we don't want to have growing body.
Just bad unhealthy cells.
Bad unhealthy cells that are out of the immune system's control, we'll say. There is research pointing toward curcumin helping to reduce the formation of those cells and also even help prevent the formation of future cells of that type, particularly in the digestive tract. Right. So that is fantastic news.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And then we're going to start to go to talking about how much, right? So as far as dosage and how much should I take, I would lean you guys to lab work, as we always do. Labs don't lie, and we don't guess, we test. Those are good,
absolutely
good mantras to lean towards. But generally speaking, for most folks, somewhere between 500 to 2,000 milligrams a day is a safe area to live in. I kind of like 2,000 and sometimes even beyond, personally. I'm not saying that's for you. But in all the research that I've gathered, even upwards to 8,000 milligrams a day, and I would lean towards your practitioner for advice before I try to push that far. But that is considered to be a healthy range, even that high. Especially for, I didn't even realize that either until some time back. But 8,000 milligrams a day. And again, like I said, I would lean towards your healthcare provider on that particular subject.
Absolutely.
I don't know that I'd go that high without some sort of advice or without some kind of lab work. But most of the time when you go out and do research and look, you'll find that high is not really frowned upon at all. So that much dosage. And I have noticed in the past, and this is years ago, when I was struggling with some inflammation in my body and I kept taking it, it's like, man, every person that I know, which is no short list of people that are smarter than me that are in this arena, like they keep telling me, Scott, you need turmeric, you need more curcumin. I just felt like it wasn't helping me. And then when I dug a little deeper, I wasn't taking enough.
Right, you were just taking the minimum recommended amount.
Yes. Yeah. So for me personally, that 500 milligram range was nowhere near enough.
It was not.
I had to get in the 2,000, even 3,000 range per day and then 30, 60 days, sometimes even as much as 90 days
Right.
before you, with regularity. Now, it's like sometimes Miss Amy and even myself, like if I really ask or someone asks me, have you been taking XYZ? Then I stop and think, well, maybe half the time, maybe I forget.
Half the time's better than not at all.
Right. But my point there is, guys, before we can truly say that something's helping me specifically or isn't, like anything else. For example, Amy, talking about a gym, reiterating the fact that we need to do it on a regular basis, our supplements, in order for them to have a chance to help us. Gym's the same way.
Right.
So if I join in January and it comes around to May, June, and I've been there twice.
Just consistency
with
anything.
You got to have consistency with anything. And your curcumin, your turmeric's not going to be any different, just like any other supplement or exercise or whatever the case may be, right? So those are most of the key high points, the points I wanted to touch on in the ways of curcumin. And guys, again, somewhere, like I said, 500 to 2,000 milligrams per day is a good range. I like to lean toward a 2,000, even 3,000 a day, especially if I'm trying to get it in my system and built up, and then I might level at more of a 1,500 range. But again, guys, before you get super high into that, always leaning on your healthcare provider is a good way to go, of which you can actually do with us. So we can help you with lab work. We can help you with the actual product itself. Our Thompson Essentials, again, like we mentioned earlier in the beginning, has curcumin, which literally helps your absorption. Like we said, reiterating, just because you take a supplement, but it passed right through you, it's really absorbable. Quality really, really matters. And there are some great brands out there. And of course, Thompson Essentials is a great brand, which is reason for the company, right? We found ourselves recommending things to people, and then maybe sometimes, sadly, that company we were recommending might get bought up by a huge corporate conglomerate, and then things change, ingredients change, and that quality is not really there anymore. And then that's not good for our patients. That's not good for us. That's not good for you. That's not good for anyone when quality falls away. So we thought, it's a real big painstaking undertaking, but the only way you really know when something's got high quality
a certainty.
Is to have your hand on it. Is to have your hand on it. And that's why Thompson Essentials as a supplementation company was born. So, anything you'd like to add? Maybe the cooking area.
Right. I will say this. I was mentioning earlier. It's so easy to cook with turmeric. I like to use turmeric seasoning. Just get a good organic turmeric seasoning. I would really, really love if we grew turmeric. I went up to a beautiful organic turmeric farm and saw the turmeric, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so pretty. And it's literally like a green plant with the little pink flowers on it. It's just really pretty. It has a nice aroma. I'd love to plant it, but I am so not a gardener. So yes, I live on a farm, and no, I hardly garden. I do have a few herbs in my garden that have miraculously stayed alive all summer.
When we moved back out the country, you wanted to have a garden. Remember that?
Yes.
And we had all these things you wanted to grow.
I grew 50 things.
Yes. And we had the finest patch of weeds you'll ever see.
So I had great ideas.
Yeah. But we're not home enough.
Yeah.
Currently.
We love it. We love an organic farm. We love, locally grown produce. And, I really love to support my local farmers. The farmers market, we got some great farmers markets around here. We have them all over the place. All of the towns around have great farmers markets. And I like to hop around to the farmers markets. That's like my thing. So, but that being said, it's really hard sometimes to know your farmers. So I've been out to farms that I just really know and love and trust. And I've been out to the farms and I've seen the way they do things. And so I have my people that I frequent and love to support with their farms. But it is really hard to find things that are anti-inflammatory foods that I, always trust in the grocery store. So, and knowing even at the farmers markets, who am I buying my foods from? So just because they're out there with their farm product does not always mean that they're not spraying it down immensely with pesticide. And that's not cool with me. I want foods that are clean and non-toxic. So know your farmers. And if you have, the opportunity, I encourage you to get out there and plant your own food. The only way you're going to know is to know your farmers or, what you're doing to your foods. So
you made me think of something. Remember we went to a farmer's market in Destin. Actually, technically that was
Seaside.
Seaside.
You went to. Yeah.
Right. And
there's a lot of organic farmers, and he has turmeric plants. And
mixing honey.
Oh my gosh, we got to go back to Seaside. There's my excuse.
Like you needed one.
No, there's a great organic farmer down somewhere around Seaside. I don't know who he is, so I ain't gonna call him out, but he does his turmeric
mixes it in honey.
it with honey, and he
it's
sells
so
it there.
good. So like if you're a almond butter, peanut butter, honey on your toast kind of thing, and had turmeric in it, and when he explained it to us, he showed it to us, I thought, and I put honey in coffee sometimes.
I forgot about that. You just made me want to go down there.
I know, right? But I was like, man, that don't taste good. That don't sound like it would taste good. Because if you've ever had curcumin turmeric, just in its raw form, it's got a distinct taste that's usually not, it's kind of a bittery, kind of a not, I mean, it's not something you would just eat, right? It's usually mixed in something, so smoothie or whatever, or of course your supplementation. But this was really good. I couldn't believe it. I could take it in a spoon, the honey mixture, and put it in my coffee, and it was still good. So, but that's been, you started talking about local farmer, and it made me think of that. That was, gosh, 2, 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We need to find that fellow. We hadn't been there. That particular farmer's market has eluded us.
Right.
Really good.
But you could add your turmeric plants that you grow or you pick up. I honestly haven't seen any local turmeric plant farmers around here. If you know one, DM me, hit me up, let me know, because I am all about supporting a healthy, non-pesticide turmeric plant farm.
Correct. And guys, in the comments, if you want to hear anything more about turmeric curcumin, just send us a message. We'll try to respond to everything that you send us. And also, as always, if there's any other subject or supplement or whatever it is that you'd like to hear about, suggestions, we'd love those topics to cover. Love those as well. Most recently, things that's coming up and coming, things as simple as butter. Should I eat butter? Is butter bad for me? That's kind of many years over of a misnomer. Is imitation butter better than real butter, etc.? So eggs, I want to talk about eggs up and coming. So eggs have a lot of good benefits. And just walking, is that as good as exercise? Weightlifting, there's a lot of subjects we're going to cover up and coming, so please stay tuned for those. And again, like I said, if there's something specific you want to hear about, just comment and we'll try to cover that. So as for right now, Scott and Amy, Thompson Essentials, we'll see you next time.
Bye guys, see you soon.
See you soon.